Welcome to our first microbiology episode. Today we're going to talk about gram stain. What is gram stain? It is basically a dye like the one we used for our stuff. Instead, we use it for our bacteria. In fact, it is the first line lab test used for bacterial identification. In order for the bacteria to retain gram stain, it must have a thick peptidoglycan layer, and that is exactly what gram-positive bacteria have. And that's why it stains as crystal violet. However, bacteria with thin peptidoglycan layer, like gram-negative bacteria, turn red or pink with counterstain. You might wonder what counterstain we use. Basic fuchsin stain is abundantly used, but sometimes we use safranin as well. Turning now to our quizzes. The first question, which unfortunately many of you got it wrong. Gram-positive bacteria has a cell wall, but it doesn't have an outer membrane. It has lipoteichoic acids on its surface, and it acts on the tumor necrotizing factor, TNF, and interleukin-1, IL-1. As for gram-negative bacteria, it has a periplasm, an outer membrane, and on its outer membrane, it has lipopolysaccharides, which are also called endotoxin. Lipopolysaccharides acts on TNF and IL-1 as well. Next, our second question. The lipopolysaccharide on gram-negative bacteria has three compartments. First, lipid A, second, O antigen, and third, polysaccharide. The lipid A is the major immune response trigger, and O antigens are the main target for antibodies. Finally, our last question. Mycobacteria has a special cell wall. Its cell wall has high lipid content. It's called mycolic acid. On the other hand, Mycoplasma is one of the bacteria that doesn't have a cell wall. Instead, it has sterols in its cell membrane to maintain stability. Another bacteria that comes to mind that doesn't have a cell wall is Ureaplasma. You got it. As a bonus, these atypical bacteria mentioned do not gram stain well for the reasons explained previously. But how do we differentiate between two bacteria which begin with myco? It is an easy and a logical way. The one which has no cell must have only cell membrane, or so-called plasma membrane. And scientists fortunately named them mycoplasma and ureaplasma, versus mycobacteria, which the emphasis it's on its being a mycobacteria.